All right, hello everybody. This is a video for the knowledge check part one, or week 3 knowledge check, the first knowledge check that we had. And I'm just going to go through the answers with you, kind of explain to you the answers. And yeah, feel free to email me any questions you have further. But here's what it looks like. There's one to redraw, and then there were a few dictations as well. And then there's the solfege with putting re and fa, and then listening and hearing which solfege syllables I was singing on ba, do, or something like that. So, to get us started at the first page, we have number 1, draw one whole note at the dotted line below. Now, I recognize that this, the design that I did is whole note describes it here, half note is this, quarter note is this, eighth note is this, and I realized that some people drew eighth notes, quarter notes, half notes, whole notes, lining up with this, but that was not what was instructed. So please make sure you read the instructions next time. So again, if I were to, if this is my dotted line here, maybe I should bring this a little bit closer. We're going to go on a little ride for a second here. If that were to be my dotted line, here we go. A bit closer there. All right, hopefully that's a little bit better. Then my whole note, and again, I don't really care if you drew it on the line, above the line, over, under the line, but that's just like an oval. I don't need anything super fancy, so long as it's just a circle or an oval like that. Half notes are going to be basically the same thing with a stem. So we call, when we have notes, we call this part, the circular part, the head of the note, and the part that goes up, the stem. So the head and the stem of a note in music. I'm just going to turn this up so you can see it. Quarter notes, again, you're going to have the head and the stem, but instead of having the head empty, you're going to fill that in, just like that. Okay? And then finally, eighth notes. Really, you do whatever was prior, and then you just kind of add on to it. So I'm going to make a filled-in head, write a stem, and then with eighth notes, we have what's called a flag. So it looks something like that. You can also write it like this. I've seen this before. That's completely okay. You can't really even see that. But yeah, so the flags they're kind of a little bit, what do you call them, versatile, so long as there's something that's coming off of the top of it. That's really all I'm caring about. You could even do something like this, like just a line, and that's completely okay. I also saw some people write eighth notes like this, and they paired them up, and that's completely okay too, because eighth notes tend to be in groups of 2 or 3. So if you did this, this is also completely acceptable. Okay, now number 5, the rhythms, or the numbers 5 and 6, the rhythms part, where I clapped rhythms. Your job was to make sure that you watched me and listened as well. And so the first one was 1, 2, 3, 4. Most of us got that one, but in case you didn't, that 1, 2, 3, 4 is that quarter note. And so I just clapped 1, 2, 3, 4. So number 5 was simply 4 quarter notes, right? I did see that some people put in quarter notes, or they put in like half notes for the beat. So some people did this, half, 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 half. Or I also saw eighth, 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 eighth. So I saw these 3. This is the one I was looking for, but I guess I could have been a little bit more clear about that. But if you did one of these, I gave you half point for it, not the full point. So, and then the second one The second dictation one's number 6. That one you had to watch me a little bit more for, and that one was 1, 2, 3, 4. So this would be 2 beats worth, and if a quarter note is 1 beat, then the half note is twice as long as the quarter note, therefore it is 2 beats long. And so the first part of that would be a half note, 1, 2, and then 2 quarter notes after that. And so you can even, when we do these next, you can even count inside your head while I clap it. So for example, if I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, you would know that this one has 2 beats, right? I did see a couple people go quarter, rest, quarter, quarter, and that's why I said for you to watch, because otherwise you wouldn't know if I held it over or if I just did this for a rest. So whenever I'm clapping, this would mean a half note. That would be what I just did, quarter, quarter rest. This is a rest, essentially, okay? So this is what we're looking for here, and then this one was for number 5. So number 5 and number 6. Okay, moving on to the back side of the page, where we have stuff about solfege. So I gave you a little treble clef here, and I wrote that this note is C. You can kind of see that line in the middle there of it. And so that note is do. Then I wanted you to find re and fa. So I'm going to quickly write up all of the possible notes that we could have above this note, because re and fa are do, re, in solfege, do, re, mi, fa. Re and fa are higher than do, so it must be higher than this note. So I'm going to write in every single possible note that I can on each space and line. Space and line. Space, line, space, or line, space, line, space, and I'll stop there. Okay? So now we have every single possible location for a note on this staff. I mean, we could go higher, we could go lower, but for our purposes, we won't need it. So if this note is do, the next possible place for it to be would be just underneath the first line, and that is re. I saw a few people write in this note as re, and that would not be correct. And that note is actually fa. We're going to talk about that in just a second. So yes, make sure that whenever you're counting up to find a solfege syllable, oh, I hope that didn't just stop. Okay, good. If you're ever trying to find a solfege syllable from do, just keep inching your way up and up and up. So if this note is re, I'm going to rewrite this one. This note is on the line, and that note is mi. The next one up would have to be fa, and there's fa. So re and fa. So those were your 2 that you needed to write down. I'm going to keep going so you can see. I know that we don't really get the opportunity to do this in class. So now I have done do, re, mi, fa. So is the second line, la goes up to the second space, ti and do is the third space above, or in from the bottom. Then I can keep going. I'm actually going to switch to the writing at the top here. Do, re, mi, fa, so. So really, if you wanted to, you could have also written re here and fa here. But again, we've been basing everything off of this do, and so I didn't really expect anybody to do that, and nobody did, so that's okay. But yeah, so all you're doing is just finding the next possible one, and you're just going to line it all up. I bet you that something like this will probably be on the next knowledge check, so please be aware of that, where I'll probably have you write every single possible place a note can go on the staff from do all the way up to high so. So just be ready for that. So yeah, this is the benefit of watching these videos. Okay, so moving on. The last part was a melodic dictation, which is just fancy words for when I sang the notes, you would have to write down the solfege. So for, I believe everybody, I tried my best. I think first period didn't get this, but everyone else did, where I would go, do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'd sing, bum, bum, bum. In that case, bum, do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do, bum, do. So I sang 3 do's in a row that time. Bum, 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 do, do, do. The second one I did, so again I'll sing the solfege scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Bum, bum, bum. In that case, I was going up by step. So I would never, in this last week, we have never talked about skips that much. And so I was only going by step and not by, what do you call it? By skip. So bum, bum, bum. The notes get higher as we go. So knowing that bum, do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do, bum, that note is do, bum, do. The next note up from do would have to be re. And the next note from there would have to be mi. Bum, 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 do, re, mi. So that's a little review of the knowledge check that we did on Wednesday. And yeah, looking ahead, we'll probably be doing what I mentioned earlier, so please check back in the video if you want to review that. And we might have a little bit more kind of clap back and forth rhythms and just exploring more of this. So, and also, as a reminder, when you get your paper, you're going to notice that there is a score in the corner of your sheet of paper, and then on PowerSchool, there is a different grade. And so the reason why is because regardless of whether you did very well or very poorly on these things, I grade them on a scale of 50% to 100%. So even if you got a 3 out of 10 on this knowledge check, you actually probably got like a 6 out of 10 or maybe a 7 out of 10 because I'm grading it from 50 to 100, not 0 to 100. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. Again, these grades are not affecting your overall grade right now. I'm gonna wait until the end of the semester or end of the quarter, so almost right before our fall concert, and then I will actually put in your top 4 grades. So I think we'll have 5 this quarter because we started a little bit late. So we will have, I will put in your top 4 grades, but you're still gonna see what you got. So yeah, that is knowledge check number 1 from week 3. So let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I will see you in class.